friend. And hello, everybody. Thank you for those on the east and central parts of the country for sticking it in just a little later than normal today. West Coasters, we finally got a good time slot for you. Yeah, my name is Matthew Montoya. I'm Senior Channel and Marketing and Enablement Manager at Constant Contact. That long title simply means that I teach Constant Contact. And a fun fact, Randy, I've been teaching that Constant Contact for 12 years. Tuesday was my 12th anniversary, so I'm now moving into my 13th year of Constant Contact, and I'm excited to share this content with you. And if you were just joining a little late, you may have missed a little kind of sidebar conversation that Randy and I were having about the reason why we're doing this presentation right now. It's those three words at the bottom of the title: review, plan, and execute. If you have not started thinking through your holiday marketing plans, you need to run, don't walk, to start building them out. It is September 21st, and it's really starting to get to be crunch time for building out your marketing plan. And so I'm going to talk to you about how you do that. I'm going to also show you within Constant Contact, as Randy alluded, something really unique. I rarely train on it, but it's really going to be tied around not so much a tool, but a way to organize your marketing in a way that's really natural. So let's go ahead and get into the content. No matter where you are in your marketing journey, building a solid online marketing foundation requires three main actions: reviewing your current status, creating a plan to reach your goals, and executing that plan. Following these three main actions paves the way to online marketing success. Let's take a look at a couple of stats here. So 69% of small businesses use digital marketing to attract customers. Not a big surprise. 45% of organizations don't have a clearly defined marketing strategy. That is a bit of a surprise. You know, if we don't have a plan, how in the world are we going to know we succeeded in the plan? And the analogy that I always use at this kind of juncture where we're talking about having a plan, there's two components to consider: the plan and your goal. Because if you don't have the plan and the goal, then how do you measure the results, right? And so the analogy I use is, hey, I want to take a trip to go see Randy outside of Baltimore. How am I going to know? So that's the plan. How am I going to know I reach my goal? When I say hello to Randy outside Baltimore, right? If we don't consider this kind of strategy, we're going to be flying in the dark to a certain extent. 47% of small business owners run their marketing efforts themselves. I'd be willing to bet that describes you. And so what I want to do is take those ideas. Most of you are doing it yourself. Some of you are not planning, and that most people know that digital marketing is important. Tie it all up in a bow, holiday pun intended, and help you out. So here's today's agenda. While it will be short, this is what I will be sharing: how to review your online marketing efforts, how to create an actionable plan, and how to take action in key areas of focus. So let's go ahead and talk about how to review your online marketing efforts. Before moving forward, it's always important to take a step back, and it's a good time to evaluate your current marketing tools and strategies to identify what's working well and what needs improvement. This helps you understand your strengths and your weaknesses and allows you to set clear next actions. You've got to ask yourselves, have my marketing efforts been consistent throughout the year? And again, I'm really kind of tie this into the holidays. What you've been doing, has that been allowing you to reach your goals? Are there any marketing channels that I'm seeing that are more effective than others? So if I'm spending a lot of time on one particular social media platform, is it outperforming in terms of the kinds of business growth and comments, clicks, likes, things like that, versus other channels? Am I seeing that email is outperforming social? Things like that. That's what we're talking about. Are there things that we could improve to or change and alter to improve the results we're seeing? The key tools for successful marketing include, but are not limited to, social media, email and texting, and websites. These tools allow you to expand your reach by providing opportunities to continuously communicate with your audience and add new people to lists. Now, for social media, you want to view this a bit as rented land for engagement and awareness. Your social media efforts should try to focus on one main channel. Now, that might be a bit of a surprise. A lot of small business marketers try to be everywhere at once. And not only is that a bit exhausting, but you really can't focus on the results that way. Now, I do know many of you are going to be on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn, right? I'm going to say the word Facebook and X. And that is a viable strategy, but you want to make sure you're not putting your eggs in all baskets, because you can't possibly be monitoring the growth and behavior across everything all at once, while also paying attention to other channels like email, text, and your website. So you want to make sure you're encouraging people to interact with you in places that you are managing well. Some questions you need to ask yourself around social media is, are the right people engaging with my posts? Are these going to be my target audience? Are these going to be my target customers, my target donors? Are people, the right people coming back to my website? Is one social media channel outperforming the others? You want to communicate directly with your proprietary contact list to drive action when it comes to email and marketing, email and text marketing. You should use email for longer, more complete information, and use text for timely, succinct promotions and communications. You also want to try to automate repetitive emails. So common emails that you regularly send, you want to get that off your back as we're getting into that busy holiday season, and automate those as much as possible. And there's a variety of ways that you can automate your emails to not only save you time, but as we are getting in the holiday season, and I'm going to share some advice with you a little bit later on this, you'll want to think through what can you automate in the holiday marketing pipeline, because that's not just going to save you time, and it's going to help you see bigger growth. You also want to do things like segment lists based on customer interests, demographics, or shopping habits. When it comes to email and text, questions to ask yourself: am I sending emails and texts regularly enough? Now, that bullet point may surprise you, but let me talk a little bit about sending. So a lot of small business and nonprofits are consistently concerned about oversending, sending too many emails. And that's a viable concern, but the reality is there's a key component to sending that you need to consider, which is relevancy. Is your emails relevant? If the email's relevant, then you could send many emails, many more than you think. An example, if you attended one of these presentations from me before, you've heard this, so forgive me. But I open an email nearly every day from an organization that sends me an email 7 days a week. It's my bank. It's just a snapshot of my current balance. Why do I open it? Because it's relevant to me. Now, do I suggest you send that frequently? No. But as we move into the holidays, one question you need to answer, one thing you need to identify is, have I been sending regularly enough? Because if you've been sending in a staggered format, so you're sending one email now, your habit has been, I'll send an email in July, then I'll send another one in September. You're constantly having to prime the pump every single time that you send an email. Remember, email is especially effective at keeping your organization top of mind and at the tip of people's tongue. And so we want to make sure that we're sending out regularly enough, so when we really need them, which is, again, framing this around the holidays, they're listening and they're ready to take action. We also want to pay attention to what my audience is clicking on the most. So now would be the time, if you're utilizing an email marketing tool like Constant Contact, to go into the data, really pay attention to what people have interacted with in the past, and perhaps break your lists up into segments so that you can target people based on what they clicked on. Regardless, you want to pay attention to the kind of content that people have been attracted to the most, the kind of content that has fallen flat over the last year. Now is the time to look at that data. You also want to look at, are the subscribers taking the actions that I want? So again, if they have not been clicking on the links I want them to do, I need to ask myself why and pivot, because we want people to take that action as we move into the next couple of months. When it comes to website, your website is obviously your online home base, and what people, the place people should find when, the place people should go when they're looking for you. You also want to make sure that your website is mobile responsive and has a modern design and has at least 3 pages: homepage, about us, and the contact us page. So questions to ask yourself around website: does my site have complete and up-to-date information? Now is the time to audit your website. Audit your website and what kind of content you have. We're going to be driving people to your website as we move into the holidays. With nonprofits, I'm talking to you too. Obviously, Giving Tuesday's coming up, so we're going to have a lot of attention. We want to make sure everything's up-to-date and tight. We also want to make sure that the right people are visiting, so we're attracting the right kind of audience, and we want to pay attention to SEO type metrics, where are they coming from the right locations? Meaning, are they coming from the right search engines? Are they coming from the right locations in terms of physical locations? Are the visitors taking the next steps I want them to? So paying attention to something like Google Analytics and seeing, okay, they're hitting my homepage and then they're going to this spot, and then they're going to that spot. We want to pay attention to that, because if there's a gap, if they're getting to my homepage, or they're getting to my menu, or they're getting to our product page, we want to make sure that it's very easy and fluid for them to take next steps that we want them to take. And am I using free and paid tools, search ads, review sites, social media, to get more visitors to my site? Now, from there, let's talk about taking that idea, doing the review, that audit of what you've been doing, and making an evaluation of what has worked and what you can improve, and let's develop an action plan. Having a clear plan is essential to successful marketing. Defining realistic, practical goals that you can focus on. This keeps your efforts focused and achievable. Remember, done is better than perfect. Are there new things I need to implement, like adding pages to my website, picking a focused social media channel, or automating some of my email marketing? Are there existing things that I can improve upon, like growing my contact list, capturing more sales from my online store, or getting more year-end donations? Once you've answered these questions, formulate 3 goals you want to focus on as we move into the holiday season and beyond. Write them down in the handout that we're going to be providing to you. I'm hoping that goes out right now, but it's certainly going to be in the follow-up for this. In that handout, I have all the information I'm sharing and a place for you to write your goals down and also catalog the results. Now let's dive in a bit deeper and explore the various types of things that we want to focus on. Ultimately, execution is what it's all about, right? We can evaluate and we can audit and we can plan, but if we don't execute, then what's the point? So execution is where the rubber meets the road. Once you've defined your goals and created a foundation for your plan, put it into action by allocating resources and consistently implementing your strategy. Scheduling time in your calendar can help hold yourself accountable. And if there's one big piece of advice I can give you, is dedicate time to your digital marketing. I just went to an Alignable live event on Monday and had so many small businesses come up to me and go, I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. I went to another small business event on Tuesday. All of this was in Boston. I've been meaning to, I want to, I should focus. Folks, all the strategy, all the planning, all the research and analytic review in the world is not going to help you if you don't dedicate time to produce results. Some of the savviest marketers, small business marketers I know, carve out time in their schedule and dedicate themselves to this stuff. And you're not going to find success unless you do that. As you start to work through your goals, regularly monitor your progress and adjust that plan. Don't just set out on the plan. Don't just set up time for yourself. Pivot. If you see things are not going the direction you need them to go, pivot and be ready to devote time to resolving whatever issues you're seeing. And this is where the idea of having that plan comes into play, because if my plan is to get this many visitors to my site, if my plan is to get this many more clicks on my email, if my plan is to convert this many more people to donate or buy out of the emails I send, and I'm not seeing those results, well, I need to do a somewhat of a cold stop and kind of figure out what do I need to move around, because the clock's ticking. Your window of time to really organize yourself and be successful at holiday marketing is rapidly closing. Now, here's a couple of further steps we want to consider. First is making sure that the 3 items we want to make sure on in terms of our website is keeping in mind who is our site for, making it clear what people should do on our site, and always test your website on mobile devices. Now, most website tools are going to be mobile responsive, but what I've seen a lot of people do is not really think through what the experience is like. It's great that a website can convert itself to look one way on a desktop, one way on a tablet, and another way on a mobile device. But what you really want to do is try to test it and see, is the way that I've laid out my site, when it becomes mobile responsive, is it inhibiting the steps that I want people to take? Let's go a little bit deeper into sites. So I mentioned that there's 3 pages you've got to have on your site, and let's break these down. Obviously, the homepage is your homepage. It serves as a digital storefront for your organization, making the initial first impression on your visitors. It must convey your brand identity, showcase at least some of your products or services, and offer, I can't stress this enough, easy navigation for people to find the other things that you want them to find. Secondly is the About Us page. This is going to be a place where customers can learn about your company history, values, and mission, fostering trust and transparency. Lastly is the contact us page. This is going to provide a direct line of communication, making it essential for quick inquiries, feedback, collaborations. And let's go a little bit deeper into this. So your homepage should answer these questions. What is your product or service? You don't have a lot of time, so be very clear and be very specific. Who's it for? The visitor's asking, is this company for me? Is this nonprofit for me? Is their mission aligned with what I want to do? Is the product aligned with what I want to buy? You need to answer that question for your visitors very, very quickly. You also need to answer, so what? Meaning, why would your potential customer care about your product? Why would they care about your service? Why would they care about your nonprofit? Why should they choose you over something else? This is something your homepage, a lot of weight for it to carry, has to carry very succinctly and clearly. And what should visitors do next? Should they make a purchase? Should they visit your product page? Should they contact you? Questions for your About Us page. What's your story? What's the problem you're solving for your customers? What's the problem that you're solving in your community as a nonprofit? What obstacles have you overcome? Why is your work important to your community? Why should people care? How will it benefit? You also want to think through how your business is different and explain that in your About Us page. Why are you better at this than anyone else? And the Contact Us page should answer, where can they find you? Do you have physical locations? Is your company physically based? Are you digitally based? Do you have social channels? What are your hours of operation? Are all your locations the same? If you have multiple locations, do they have different support or phone numbers? They have different ways of contacting you. You need to answer those questions as quickly and succinctly on all three of these pages so that you can motivate that person to take the next steps. When it comes to email, we want to create an offer to attract subscribers. We want to add sign-up forms and pop-ups. We want to create sign-up landing pages, and we want to level up perhaps with an ad on Facebook and Instagram. What I want you to think about is lead magnets. So when you are soliciting people for their email address, don't just make it about you, make it about them. Instead of saying, hey, do you want to join my mailing list? The answer is going to always be no. So many small businesses and nonprofits have features on their website that says, hey, join our mailing list, or on their social media, join our mailing list. Nobody wants to get more email. But if you make it about them, you offer them something useful, they will more likely convert for you and join your list so that you can email market them or text market to them. So what are some examples of a lead magnet? Discounts. That's a very common one in small businesses. Downloads, like value prop things like downloads, checklists, guides, webinars and training, case studies, thought leadership. We just want to offer something that you can see in this example from this real estate company. The lead magnet is 12 steps to home buying. So that is going to be the valuable thing that people get when they sign up. They're not saying join our mailing list. Next up is in terms of email marketing, you want to make sure you're creating a welcome series. And in that welcome series, you also want to consider having at least 3 emails. So what I'm talking about here is automation. So that when somebody joins your list or you add them to your list, you're going to fire off automatically at least an email. So you can just offer just one welcome email, and you probably want to set that up. If you haven't attended my webinars about this kind of concept, I highly encourage you to set up a welcome email. This email is triggered when somebody joins a list or you add them, and it's going to very likely be opened. But you can carry that even further, like an invitation to connect you on social media or important facts for you to know, for them to know in terms of making a purchase or donation decision. You can also automate things like birthdays or anniversaries and abandoned cart triggers. What you want to try to do, especially as we come into the holidays, is think, okay, how are they coming into my ecosystem, especially around email marketing and text marketing, and what can I automate to fire off to have them take the action I want? So one thing you can automate is if somebody clicks a link in a specific email, you can automate an email or a series of emails. So let's think about that with this holiday idea in our minds. If we have a product in our email and somebody clicks on the link, well, they're going to go to our site, they're going to see more information, but that's showing intent. If they click on that link, we may want to fire off automatically at least one email encouraging them to take the next step. In addition to saving time, automated emails are known to generate more business. So a welcome email can generate 320% more revenue for you, because if they signed up, they're going to be expecting an email. Now, if I talk about that lead magnet idea, if you're offering a guide, a webinar, some discount, a perfect place to deliver that stuff is in your welcome email, right? They're going to likely be opening it. So that's a great place to put that kind of content. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you do automate content, you want to try to keep it evergreen. especially things like welcome emails. They may be opening it in October, they may be opening it in January, so you don't want to have timely content in that welcome email. Automated emails in general have a 616% higher click rate. The reason for that is because of relevancy. Again, the idea of somebody clicking on a link in an email and then getting a follow-up email, that's going to show relevancy. Why? Because I just clicked on that link. Next is going to be interacting, engaging on social media. We want to make sure we're leveraging existing content when possible on social media. You can repurpose content from your blog, from your email, and beyond on social media as a way to save you time and connect to your audience. It's also a fantastic place to raise awareness about something going on in your organization, support your customers, and ultimately what you really want is to drive action. As you think about your social media, one thing you want to do is, again, carve out time and at least spend 5 minutes a day thinking through how you're going to drive action to the goals that you've set for yourself, how you're going to provide fantastic customer service on social media, and ultimately get them to take the action. And this is all about engagement. I see so many small businesses and some nonprofits have a social media presence, and it's basically the Wild West. There's just tumbleweeds flowing around because somebody hasn't posted anything in a week or 2 or a month, and there are comments and people are not replying to them. That is not a successful digital marketing strategy. You want to make sure that you are there. And that's why I say focus on your primary channels. Don't try to be everywhere at once. If you're spread too thin and you're ignoring comments and behavior on other social media channels because you're paying attention to this social media channel, you're not really employing a very viable digital strategy. So 8 tips to maximize your productivity. Firstly, if possible, use artificial intelligence to help you skip writer's block. If you've attended any of my presentations in the last couple of months, artificial intelligence is built into Constant Contact, and Constant Contact's AI will write your content for you. Create a master template for consistent branded experience for all of your emails. Repurpose your content when possible by using the same content in multiple channels. Block time off in your calendar specifically dedicated to marketing. Please implement integrations to help you streamline your marketing efforts. So if you use Constant Contact, there's over 6,000 integrations that may be able to do a lot of your legwork for you. Review your reporting. Review your reporting. It is not enough to just send out content. You want to monitor the results. That's how you know you've achieved your goal, or how you will know that you need to pivot and change. And go back to that idea. If I'm going to see Randy outside of Baltimore and I'm in Chicago, I need to pivot. Automate redundant tasks as much as you can. This is around automating your email and text messaging so that you save yourself time and also send out relevant content, and schedule as much as you can ahead of time. You can always unschedule things if the world changes, if news changes, if something circumstance in your organization change, but sit back, carve out that time and schedule your content to go out so that you're not scrambling at the last minute, because for most organizations, we all know it can be pretty chaotic around the holidays. Diligently reviewing your marketing strategies and tools, creating a plan to reach your goals, and executing well-defined strategies allow you to establish a strong foundation for online marketing success this holiday season and beyond. Remember to continuously review your efforts so that you can adapt your goals and strategies as the online marketing landscape changes over the holidays. With that, I do encourage you to connect to Constant Contact's community group here on Alignable. We have a lot of engagement, a lot of folks talking to each other back and forth. And at this point, I'm going to bring my friend Randy back on, talk a little bit about the Alignable community that Constant Contact has and beyond. Randy.